I'm Kevin Lemasters with Enviropest. We're a small company of 20 people. We have about 15 trucks on the road, and I've been using Azuga for about 2 years. We previously were using another GPS program. We have been very happy with Azuga and the tool that it is for us, the real-time data and availability and breadcrumb reporting and all of that we utilize on a regular basis. It's interesting, we've learned a lot of times it comes down to when you sit down with one of your staff and you start visiting about a behavior that you're struggling with, a lot of times they're not even aware of that behavior. I had a conversation with one of my people yesterday about missed time at work and was sharing how many days they've missed this year, and they had no idea that it had been that many days. So a lot of times we have a perception that people really understand where they're at in their behavior and how they're functioning in work, and they have a completely different perception of that. So this is great to be able to look at information and share it on a regular basis to coach and begin to change that behavior. We put the tool in place about 2 years ago, and I'd say it was for the first 6 to 8 months we didn't utilize it a whole lot for behavior changing. We kind of put it in place and let it sit stagnant because we realized that when we put something like this into play, a lot of people look at it as the big brother, and we certainly don't approach things with a stick approach. We try to come at it with a carrot approach. So we wanted to be able to utilize this in a way that we could reward people for doing the right thing instead of making them feel bad for making mistakes. So when we started pulling the data out, what we would do is just pull it out, drop it into a basic spreadsheet, and show people what their scores were in the different categories. The hard braking, sudden acceleration, all those different key areas. And talks about what those are. Each month, our people really begin to take ownership in what those things look like. So when we do our monthly meetings, we'd go through the scores. Everybody would see the score that they had in each of those categories, and we would say, okay, the person with the highest score in this area, they get a $10 gift card to somewhere. But we also recognize the improvement, because we have a lot of folks that just don't realize how hard they're braking, the sudden acceleration, all the different things that play into that. We're all wired differently. We all think we drive pretty well. It's kind of interesting when you put a program in place that begins to manage and measure everyone on an equal playing field, how different those scores come out. It's an interesting look on people's faces when they started seeing what their scores look like, and then when they begin to see some of their peers as well. A lot of times you get a lot of self-peer accountability when you are addressing these in kind of a team atmosphere, because nobody wants to be the guy with the low score. So it's been very effective for us in that way. I'm Kevin Lemasters with Enviropest. We're a small company of 20 people. We have about 15 trucks on the road.